I want to share one thing that was life-changing for me on this journey to confidence. And, I went through a season of what I thought was setbacks. I was anchoring the news. I was working as a journalist. I thought it was my dream job. I always wanted to interview other people, right? And share their stories, like since the time I was a little girl and I was in my dream job. And I started getting rosacea, which is a hereditary skin condition. It was pretty bad. I went through this big season that really affected my confidence, right? And I would get these big red bumps and it would be bright red. And sometimes, even now to this day, Brendan, when let's say I drink wine one night, or it's just a stressful time, or it's just a season, or the weather, and all of a sudden.
So the last 6 months, basically, is what we're talking about.
Basically. I'll just have these, I get really bright red. It kind of can feel like sandpaper. And I went through this season of thinking all the thoughts our inner critic thinks, right? And it really affected my confidence for a long time. And I had this realization in my life, and it really happened the first time I went on live national television and actually took my makeup off. And it's this, right? It's this idea that there are things that we are embarrassed of. And I think this is universal. There are things we're embarrassed of that we let affect our confidence. There's past mistakes we've made. There is, things that we tell ourselves are wrong with ourselves or aren't enough about ourselves. And yet when we embrace them, when we just make the decision to say, oh, this isn't what's wrong with me, this is what's right with me. And I know that's hard, but when we make that decision, when we do something afraid, it literally shrinks that fear. It shrinks the thing that we thought was really a big deal, right? When we share our story for the first time or do the thing that's holding us back. And I'm just I literally, because I have makeup on because I have a press day for book all day today for the book launch. But I just want to show you something, okay? Because I want to challenge everyone inside the Growth Day morning show. This weekend, we're going into a weekend. I just want you to think about one thing that's holding you back in your own confidence and just do it. And just take that risk and just step forward, okay? And I just want to show you because something happened to me when I did it. So I have a makeup remover wipe, Brendan. This is, you probably never seen one of these. This is a little towelette. I just want to show you something, right? So I just have makeup on for press later today. But when I take this off, and I'll never forget the moment I did this for the first time, because I used to think I should be embarrassed or something's wrong with me or I'm not beautiful, all those things. And when I started taking my makeup off, right? Because when I created a company, it wasn't about, oh, these are products that worked for, all kinds of skin. It was like, oh, here's what beauty is. It's every single one of us. And you are just as beautiful on the days you want to wear makeup as the days you don't. And something happened to me the moment I did it afraid, the moment I went on national television and just took my makeup off. And Brendan, what started happening literally is I was like, oh, it's not about me. B, we're all beautiful. I believe that authentically.
Yes.
I'm no longer afraid of rosacea. I'm no longer embarrassed by it. I no longer think it's ugly. And when I go into grocery stores now and I have no makeup on, right? I'll have people I don't know will be like, oh, are you sunburned or are you not feeling well? And I'm like, no, I have rosacea, it's a skin condition. And I just try to normalize it. And when I see other people, other women, with red cheeks or hyperpigmentation or all this stuff, and I see them just bravely bearing it, I smile like it's like a thing, right? And
it's a beautiful thing. It's inspiring.
Thing. And I think together we're changing the world. And I pulled up one quote I want to share with everyone this morning on the Growth Day morning show, because again, we're all in this together. Every one of us has something that we feel like makes us feel not enough or we're embarrassed about, or it's hurting our confidence. And, there's a famous quote. So I wrote it down right here, and it's attributed to Albert Einstein, but also a lot of other people. So I don't know the original source, but it says, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life believing it's stupid. And I think when we judge ourselves based on something we've defined as wrong with us, we risk spending our whole lives thinking we're wrong.
Yes.
Like when there's something that is holding us back in our own confidence and we're the ones telling ourselves we're not enough, like we spend our whole lives then thinking we're not enough. And I don't want to swear on the birthday morning show, but I will say this stuff has got to change.
Yes.
This stuff has got to change. And I want to read this quote one more time, because a lot of us are like this fish judging itself to climb a tree, okay? Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life believing that it's stupid. This stuff with what we believe about ourselves and the meaning we attach to the things we think are wrong with us is got to change. And when we take that, when we take that step and do it afraid, right? One person who just wrote down here, I think it was Janie wrote, I'm scared to have conversations with other people. You just start, you just do it. You just keep doing it. And once you start doing those things, you build a lot more confidence in it, and the fear shrinks. Like I was scared to death, right? Because I have it on both cheeks. I was scared to death to do this the first time and the second time and the third time. But now, but all of a sudden that fear, that self-doubt, that insecurity shrinks, and it becomes replaced by empowerment and, oh yeah, I can do these things. And
self-trust and congruence and readiness. Because I love what you're saying, because confidence, y'all, if you wait to have confidence to do something, you'll never do it.
Yeah.
Confidence is gained in momentum. So if you want more confidence, you get in momentum. You enter the fear, you enter the unknown, you enter the uncertainty, you try it. And as you survive it and do it, you realize, oh, I can handle this, which builds competence inside.
Yeah.
And because you tried it, you have self-trust. You go, oh, I went for it even though I didn't know how it's going to go. And the self-trust and the self-respect and the self-worth grows, not because you achieved something, but because you tried. Because you tried, you moved forward. The achievement was the trying, and you did it. And you also realize that most people aren't, like when you did this, I was watching the comments really closely, Jamie. First, would you all give Jamie a round of applause, because this is so inspiring. Give her some hearts, give her some claps, because this is like, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful what you just did. It's beautiful. And I'm watching the comments, and people cheer that on. People cheer real life on. We're always scared that, oh, real life people won't like that. So let me use the filter. People love real. People love this show. They're here every day because they're gaining with us as we're gaining momentum in growth day. They're gaining momentum with us. We're feeling good. We're moving in a direction. We're building new things. We're trying new things. But if you were me and Jamie in the first 4 days of this, it was a hot mess. Yeah. We didn't know how. She's like, we're sitting there with the blue tape trying to figure out how to plug this in, how to make that go. The audio was all messed up. I didn't know I had to wear the earphony things because this mic was doing something weird on the. We had no idea what we were doing, but we're gaining confidence and steam as we go along, and we get to do that with you. Yeah. Please heed what she's sharing. I shared about that yesterday too. I want to just emphasize her fish out of water. That was yesterday's message too, was remember that. Be kind of like water. The water, as it flows, can go around any obstacle, no matter how big the obstacle is, and it doesn't try to change its nature.
Yeah.
It follows its path. It follows its path. And by following your real path, not trying to hide who you are, following your real path, I really believe people will cheer you on and support you way more than the haters. The haters are, I'll just give you the rule. Haters are 10%. If you can accept that whatever you do in your life, 10% of people are maybe going to give you some negative feedback, criticism, judgment, unfair judgment, or hate.
Yeah.
What would you do in your life? Because that's only 10%. 90% of people got your back. You could swarm the haters. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. I love that so much. It's so true. And it's beautiful too. The more you embrace the parts of yourself that you think are not enough, and literally you can switch your mindset around them and just embrace them as beautiful. Or, in my case, a lot of times I think to myself, oh, this is helping someone else. It's helping normalize skin issues, or it's helping, right? It's like when we reveal the real of who we are, it shrinks our fear, it boosts our confidence, but it also becomes about something bigger than ourselves too. And, one great example of this, anyone out there who knows Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, right? Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx. She is such a I love when people just show it all, right? She's married to Jesse Itzler, who I believe he's vegan. Sarah's obsessed with Cheez-Its and French fries. And she's not even trying to act like she's not. And it's a really cool thing because I'm just thinking of this because she's turning 50 and she just went on a trip by herself. So she has 4 kids and she's like, for a gift, I just want to go away by herself. She went away by herself and she's posting all week long from her hotel room what she's doing all alone. And I'm just a little biased because she brought my book, Believe It, with her to read the second time. She already read the book. She sent me a whole testimonial about it, saying every woman in the world needs this, every entrepreneur. And then she's now reading it a second time on her 50th birthday week. And she's posting it sitting next to, she has a table of wine, French fries, and salad to keep it all balanced.
This sounds great.
Right?
What a good vacation. Good job.
I'm like, that's the best. And that's a room with some of my favorite things. Sarah Blakely, the Believe It book, wine, French fries, and he was Caesar salads. Yeah, I'm just like, oh my gosh, brilliant.
Well, she got the salad in. I mean, there's points. There's points.
Yeah, she's like her husband will approve of one of those things.
If I eat something terrible like pizza or something, I'll go to the pantry and eat all these chlorella and spirulina tablets that we have. I'm like, well, so I'll eat a pile of them, just a bunch of greens. I'll swallow after. I'm like, I'm good.
You're good. You're good. Yeah.
That's great. Everyone loves you. If you don't know what Jamie's talking about, she's talking about her book, Believe It. It is so good. Please pick it up. It is going to be a huge bestseller because A, everyone loves Jamie and believes in her. B, the value in this book of vulnerability, of sharing this difficult journey of how do you believe in yourself, start something that's your own, build it up, endure the constant no's and haters and criticism and frankly demeaning people that can be in the world, to follow your passion and build something that's real. And you have to do that. You have to believe it. So she did it as a play on words because her company was called It Cosmetics. Yeah. And so believe it as in It Cosmetics, but believe it also believe it. Believe is possible for you.
In this everyday situation, because we all, and by the way, another reason I love this Growth Day morning show is because I do believe energy is contagious. And I think that it's just so important for every one of us to even spend this time. And, we're here live for 30 minutes, Monday through Friday, in the morning, 7:30 Pacific, but even if you hop in for 5 minutes, right? I just think that being around this kind of energy is contagious. We don't all have that inside our homes. We don't all have that inside our communities. And also some of us that are really used to having that, everyone else that maybe poured into us that energy and that joy, they're going through hard times right now too, right? So it's just overall a big hard time. But Brendan, for each and every person right now, what is your advice and maybe even what you're getting out of what you're reading now, but everything else, and how do you summon that? How do you summon that confidence and that vision for something bigger than yourself, and that to take you out of just the hard season around you that you're going through? How does every person on an everyday level sitting in their living room do that? Just that
I love
question.
It. Well, what's so funny? You all know I love coaching, and part of coaching is always the person who just asked the question almost always answered it. And so your question was, how do people summon that? And in that question is the answer, which is you have to realize confidence is not something you have. Good energy is not something you have. Happiness is not something you have. It doesn't exist. It's something you choose to summon. Mm-hmm. So if you're sitting on the couch and feeling bad, don't hope that purpose lands on you. Don't hope that joy lands on you. Don't hope that confidence, it doesn't land on you randomly. What happens is you go, oh, I need to focus my attention and my awareness. I need to bring my full presence towards this outcome in which I want right now. My outcome in which I want right now is presence or energy or confidence. And then your mindset has to be, oh, I have to summon that. I have to ask, what is within me? What is the strength within me? What is it that I want to achieve and move out here? And for those who don't know and you just need hope, sometimes it's just as simple as writing down your vision, or your goals or your dream or that house that you want down the street or that thing that you want over here. And like just thinking about it and looking at it and going, okay, how would I have to show up to have that? What would I need to do today to move towards that? What small step could I take to inch me towards that right now? Okay, small step, turn off TV, stop the scroll, write down the goal, do this thing over here, like small things enacted. See, confidence so often comes from capability. Capability comes from competence. Competence comes from consistency, right? You develop greater, like it's almost just like you want to feel better, get momentum, babe. Mm-hmm. Get a little momentum behind you again. Small steps, small actions, a little momentum, a little breath behind the sails. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm moving towards this thing. I'm feeling a little better. You know, it doesn't matter if it's cleaning up the house or starting the new launch or doing the thing. Get a little momentum behind and then remind yourself consistently of that bigger picture. Remind yourself. Like for me, I have to look at something. I'm very visual, as you know. So I've got charts and diagrams and dreams and all this stuff all pinned to this little board over here. And I got to stand in, I'm always telling the growth day this, I know they're going to so tired. I stand in front of every day for 5 minutes. Even today when I was so busy before we gone on, I stood before 5 minutes so I can see, oh, this goal, that thing, that dream, here's my calendar. That's what makes me happy. All right, that makes me happy. That makes me confident. Okay, that makes me confident. Okay, and if I'm taking it in every day, think about this. If I'm a professional at this, guys, I'm literally paid to do this work. And I still have to stand in front of a board to motivate myself, to remind myself of what the fundamentals are in personal development, to be happy or confident. I'm guessing everybody else should be doing it too. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what about you though? Because, you know, you face so much. How do you summon?
Well, and yourself? I think for me, I have to keep it about something bigger than myself, no matter what I do. I mean, I remember, you know, one story where after 3 years of hearing no from QVC, right? So I had created this business in my living room, got down to no money in our account, kept sending my products to all the retailers for years. And finally got one shot on QVC. And it's a long story, which I'll share for another day. But in that moment, when I had this one shot, it was this 10-minute window. And I knew, oh my gosh, if this goes well, this could change everything, right? It could open doors for my whole company. If this doesn't go well, I'm out of business and I'm bankrupt. And it was this one moment. And not to oversimplify the moment, but it really came down to me not making it about myself. And what I mean by that is, you know, QVC, you're live in front of 100 million homes, right? And I remember, yeah, and there's no script.
How feels about that right there?
There's no script. There's no teleprompter. It's you and the host. And then, you know, in my case, because I was in the beauty space, there's models that are going to model product. And it was a moment where I had risked everything because for 3 years from all the department stores across the country, they all said no to carrying my products and said, you need to have models that look a specific way. And I kept fighting for this idea because no one was really doing this at the time. I'm like, what if we use all different, you know, women, all ages and shapes and sizes and skin tones and skin challenges and me, I'll take my own makeup off and show my rosacea, right? I have a skin condition called rosacea. I'm like, let's shift culture in beauty and really try to redefine it. This was my bigger vision because I realized all growing up, like I love these ads, I would see these commercials, but at the end of the day, and I always aspired to look at them, but to look like them. But at the end of the day, they always made me feel as a little girl like I wasn't enough, right? So I had this big vision, big vision of, okay, you know, let me try to show all different types of people as models, call them beautiful, mean it, shift culture for every little girl out there who's about to start doubting herself, every grown person who does. So I'm pitching this like over, and everyone's saying no, that this is never going to work for 3 years. And part of how I kept confidence in that journey was just knowing, okay, this is bigger than me. Like this vision of why I want to do this is bigger than me. If it would have just been, oh, I want to make some money, or oh, I want to, those are great goals.
So key.
So but they're not bigger, right? And I kept that vision bigger, always to keep that confidence, because like, it's not about me. And it came down to this one moment, literally probably one of the most important moments in my journey, was this: finally got a yes after 3 years of hearing no, and got this one 10-minute spot live on QVC. And I made the decision to, there's third-party experts out, consultants you can hire, and they all told me the best advice, which was probably the right advice, because it's all that had ever worked, which was use these kind of models that have perfect skin. And but I went with my gut, because it was like, okay, I want to do something bigger than myself. If I'm going to get one shot, I'd rather fail miserably and stand for something than sell a
I'd
ton
rather
of product.
fail miserably and stand for something. Wow.
Yeah,
Write that down, y'all. Capture that somewhere, would you? I'd rather fail miserably and stand for something.
Stand for something. But it's hard in those moments. And I remember the 10-minute window. And why I'm bringing this up is because, for me, it's that vision. And I love coming after Vision Week and Growth Day Morning Show and going into Confidence Week, because I think whether it's something like what I'm describing with your business, or it could be something really small, like a personal health goal, it could be anything. But I think having confidence in that journey is part of it for me, is this bigger than myself, right? Yes. And so I remember the moment that the 10-minute clock came up, and we were about to go live, and I had that one shot, right? And if we didn't do well, we were done. Like we never would be invited back, and we had to hit the sales goal. And at the time, I was only selling 2 to 3 orders a day on our website after 3 years into building the company, and we were down to under $1,000 in our bank account, and this whole thing. And I took that risk of going, okay, I'm going to stick with my vision. And there was one moment, Brendan, when the cameras went live, and it was this 10 minutes, my one shot. You know what I mean? It was my one shot. And I remember thinking, like, for a split second, I went back in my head to making it about me for a second. I was like, is my dress too tight? I felt like sweat dripping down my Spanx. I was like, what? And I was like, oh, no. If I get in my head and make this about me, I'm done. Like, this is so much bigger than myself. And I had to make it not about me. And boom, in my own head, I had to shift to, why am I here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And it was, my bigger vision of, oh my gosh, even if nobody buys anything and they flip on their TV and they see me showing, Helen in her 70s, all my different models, all ages, shapes, sizes, skin tones, and calling them beautiful, meaning it, and no one buys anything, like that, maybe I can at least shift culture a little bit around inclusivity. So that was like the vision I had to keep. But I just remember that moment, because if I went back into myself and made it about me and thought it was about me, I'd be done. I would have been done. And I would have never been able to authentically connect. Because
I think that you tapped into what you stand for, and you tapped in for something that you believed in, something that's important. For those who've been in our community a long time, I teach people to put a card next to their computer that says, "Who needs me on my A game today?" Because many of you, just like Jamie's experience, you'll do more for other people than you do for yourselves. People hope that one day they overcome their insecurities by some magical mindful epiphany trick. And I'm like, actually, you want to overcome your insecurities? Go fight for someone. You want to overcome your stuff? Go serve at a higher level that demands that you overcome your stuff so you can serve others. Like, I would say, like, that's why I always say, seek leadership roles. Like, when you have to serve other people and inspire other people, lead other people, it makes you confront those parts of yourself that you are insecure about, or more often, it's insecurity just from lack of inexperience. And so as you get out and in motion, you're like, oh, I know this more. It's more familiar to me. I'm more comfortable with it. I'm more comfortable at it. I like it more when I do good. I like it more when I do good. I'm winning. I got some momentum. Now I'm more confident because I'm more capable. I have more competence. So I'm going to try new things. I try new things. I learn more things. I gain more confidence. It's like, it's going for it. But a huge part of that inflection point is that bigger vision, that bigger dream, that higher level of service, what you need to do. Many people, like for me, we talk a lot about finances on the show in some way or another. And I never had a financial goal. I wish I did at the beginning. I was around people who were like surviving. So I had like a survival mindset. I just need to survive. That was all, that was where I grew up. That's what it was about. There wasn't like an aspirational, like financial thing in my entire community. And so I just I didn't have that. And then I went to San Francisco and actually before that, I went to college, worked 3 jobs full time in college. Barely, I don't even know how or when I ever slept. And I just remember seeing people show up and they had, kids, their parents bought them cars. And I was like, oh my God, your parent bought you a car. I was like, what? Or I met kids who their parents bought them tuition. I was like, someone paid for your school? Like these were so mind-boggling to me. Yeah. And still, even seeing a lot, I still never set financial goals. And then I met Denise and I started thinking, oh, what do I want our life to be about? What do I want our life to be about? And I started going, oh, you know what? I need to have a bigger vision here because I want us to go places, and to go places and have fun together, I'm gonna have to earn more. And I was like, oh, okay. And I started saying, okay. And I had a lot of insecurity around money. And I thought, oh, I'm just gonna face that. And the best way to face that is just get in motion and try to figure and learn it out. Because what I want to do is be a provider. What I want to do is create abundance for us. What I want to do is serve more people. And you know what? Serving more people will help me earn more too. And so it just like was this mindset shift that probably would, I literally think back, if I'd never met Denise, I can't imagine me having ever best-selling books or big courses or anything. One, because she put so much love in my heart that I serve from a place of love. And that's a big piece. Another one, because it like I wanted to do good for our family. And that gave me the confidence, like, okay, if I want to do good for the family, show up today. Show up today. You have a dream. You want to care for your wife, your husband, your partner, your team, someone else. Show up for them today. Who needs you today? Jamie was like, she was standing on values and service to those values. You can stand on your dream, your vision, a family member, someone you want to take care of, a cause you want to give to. But the most important thing is every day, put that thing in your head. Every morning, put that thing in the head. In the moments that matter, like she was talking about, or like Jamie and I also talk about like burnout and fatigue and tired. Like when she's in this big launch for Believe It, her new book, it's like, okay, gotta show up. It's just like, it sucks. You're tired, still gotta show up. That's just part of every day. Show up because you have this outcome in mind. Show up because you want to do this thing for other people. Show up, show up, show up, show up. All right.
And when you say who needs, I know we're going to wrap up, but one more thing to add quickly. When you say who needs you on your A game today, I just want to say this, like it may not be a friend or family member or a loved one. It may be someone in the future who's going to need your story. It might be someone in the future who's going to need to hear what you're going through right now and how you got through it, so that they can believe it's possible for them to get through it too. So the person, right? You might be alone right now. You might, but the person who needs you on your A game, you may not even have met yet, right? And sometimes thinking about that, because every single one of us, no matter our struggles, no matter what we're going through right now, no matter our setbacks, someone's going to need our story down the road. And that might be the person for someone with us right now who needs you on your A game. So keep that in mind too, because sometimes we don't see it around us at the moment.
How can you start your day a little bit more intentional, a little more grounded and confident and joyous? How can we start the day in some way we spark some aliveness in you to go win the day, spark some aliveness to be a good mom or a good parent or a good caregiver or a good leader, contributor, artist, whatever your jam is today? How can you bring some joy to that and really experience it? Like life has to be a quintessential question of how can I enjoy this day?
Yeah.
Even when the day is full of, I got to make lunch for 50 people, or I gotta go, do all the laundry of 70 people, or I have to figure out how to build this business or start this thing. You must find your way of bringing happiness to it. And Jamie and I have been talking about confidence all week, and we've talked about different frameworks for how do you find confidence, from letting go of labels that other people called you, to simple acts of standing in front of your goals and your dreams every day and looking at them so that the motivation, the ambition hits your heart again visually. All of these things we talk about. Today I had an idea I thought I'd share about confidence, Jamie.
Yeah.
And I know you have some things you'd like to share as well. And you want to go first?
No, go for it. Go for it.
Every
We're both
time
coming in hot today.
I get happy. I know some of you, you're new to our community. So if you have never joined us officially on Growth Day, go to growthday.com. That's where we do all our live in-depth training with lots of personal development trainers going live for you guys all year long for less than $1 a day. It's super cool. But Jamie sent me these mugs, which still makes me happy every time I take a drink out of it. Cheers, Jamie. Good morning.
Cheers. Good morning. Cheers. Cheers. I'm going to guess, are you drinking green tea?
It's water today.
Water today. Okay. You don't need to guess
water.
with mine. It's complete coffee.
I already got my morning workout in, so I'm energized. I'm fired up. I get so excited to talk with you all and see you all in the comments. I see people all around the world who join us every single morning just to give you a big old virtual hug and start your day off strong. Here's an idea on confidence, speaking of drinking my water here, that might serve you all. And that's this. Please realize that a lot of confidence, as we've talked about it, has been very, let me redefine my identity. Let me set intentions for who I am each day. Let me look at my goals and let me believe in my ability to figure things out, because that's what confidence is, my belief in my ability to figure things out. But I also want to tell a different kind of confidence. We're halfway through the week. And this different kind of confidence is the confidence of trust in being. Think about this. When water is flowing down a hill, it's not trying to be confident and strong. It's not trying to surge down the hill. It's not trying to command all the rocks to be exactly where the rocks have to be because it's a perfectionist water. It's flowing naturally with what it is. The bumblebee isn't going, we're going to command this field. Let me bring the legions and we're going to take this field. The bumblebee is doing what the bumblebee does, what the bumblebee is. And sometimes people lack confidence, not because they don't have goals, not because they're not high achievers. In fact, most of the high performers that I've consulted and coached with and worked with in the world, what they were trying to get back to was their authentic presence. They were the good commander on the field or the builder of the industry or the titan. And then at some point they said, I got to figure out me again and flow with that. And finding your natural essence, your nature, the truth of who you are, there's confidence there. Like I show up in a lot of different situations where it's very anxiety producing, right? Imagine walking out onto a 60-foot stage that's 40 feet deep and 20,000 people are in the arena. And you have to talk to them, entertain them, and get a standing ovation in 90 minutes. This used to be my life, people. And it's very anxiety producing. And if I think I'm going to go do these things to them, or if I think, oh, I hope I get this right, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to dance with them, and I'm a terrible dancer. I'm going to tell my jokes, which 9 out of 10 times I think is funny, and no one laughs at the joke. They just laugh at the fact that I'm so enjoying myself. So they're like, I like him because he's enjoying himself. I want you on this Wednesday, halfway through the week, to enjoy yourself, to flow with your nature today, even if you have to do something you don't want to do. You don't want to do the emails. You don't want to do the call. You don't want to do the work. You don't want to do the things with kids. Flow with it. Don't try to control everything. Flow with yourself. Be spontaneous. Real confidence isn't actually structured. It's spontaneous. It's flowing. It's gorgeously open energy that's in the moment of presence, that's in the moment of freedom. And that's what I want you to find. To take that idea that confidence is the Superman cape, instead going, no, confidence is the dance. It's the flow. It's the energy. Just showing up, being beautifully you. Please do that today and you'll have a better week.
Amen to that on a Wednesday. And I
amen
love
on a Wednesday. Can I get an amen on a Wednesday?
Amen on a Wednesday. I'm throwing out what I was going to talk about because this is so good and I'm fired up right now. But, okay. I want to distinguish something you just said too that I think is huge for people. sometimes when we're in a growth community and we're invested into personal growth and we want to change our habits, improve our habits, we want to do all those things, sometimes we can confuse that with I need to change who I am or my essence. And they're two different things, right? And I think this is so beautiful what you said, because I think it's so freeing for people as well. Because when we feel like we are just that authentic water and we're flowing through and we're showing up in our own real true essence of who we are, for better or worse. Not everyone's gonna love it, not everything's perfect, but when you do that and you actually like embrace who you are fully, it's so freeing. You feel in that state of flow and you're able to connect with other people authentically. You're able to feel the day more. And then also you approach, I think, personal growth from a place of freedom also, where from a place of confidence, right? Because you're not saying, oh, I need to change who I am to become confident. You're like, oh no, let me show up in all of my essence. Let me flow through life and dance in full commitment, as you would say, right? And by the way, Brendan, the other day when you were talking about your dancing, how bad your dancing is on stage, I'm like, no. The way that dancing is good or bad based on if you fully commit. And I believe anyone who fully commits when they dance, fully commits, great dancer, right? And so many people reposted that because how true is this, right? The example you just gave, that when you show up on your stage and you're just out there and you're all of that, it's laughing at your own jokes. But when you're fully flowing through like the water in your own jokes and you really think they're funny, people can feel it and they celebrate that, right? And I think sometimes
you're taking joy in your being, you're taking joy in your own mind, you're taking joy in the moment. And I really want everybody to feel that is like, it's halfway through the week. Are you feeling the day at all? Are you bringing intention and energy into it? Are you letting the world's events transpire and in such a way that it doesn't throw you off from your flow?
Yeah.
I mean, like, isn't it true drama's always going to be there, Jamie? Like drama, something's going to break. I mean, you had 1,000 employees at It Cosmetics or whatever it was. It was like, right? I mean, at some point, people were screwing stuff up and bad things were happening. Customers were upset about this or that. That's just life, but you still got to show up and do the work, you know?
Yeah, part of any business, part of any family, part of any group absolutely. It's always there and you have to show up. And I think, with the theme of Confidence Week and talking about what you're saying too, about just showing up in your own essence, one thing I want to share that just popped in my mind that was so powerful for me to see, and maybe this is going to speak to someone out there right now who feels like they're getting feedback from other people on things they're not doing good enough or well enough, or things they need to change, or maybe your own inner critic is telling you all the stuff you need to change about yourself. And I just want to make this point again, that there's a difference between changing who you are versus keeping who you are and growing authentically into more of who you are, growing into all of who you are, right?
Yes.
Very different than changing who you are. So I just want to call this out because so many people, we need to stop thinking we need to change who we are and that there's something wrong with us. And instead, like, embrace our essence, embrace who we are authentically, and go on this journey of growing into all of who we are. And confidence is a big part of that. And a friend of mine, Glennon Doyle, who just wrote a book called Untamed, he's out there everywhere. She said something recently and it just blew my mind. And I'm going to share it with everyone right now who might need to hear this today, because we're talking about confidence, right? So anyone who's written a book before, anyone who is in the process now, anyone who might want to write a book in the future, when you write your full manuscript and you turn it in, if you go through a publisher, you have different editors and they look at all your stuff and they start changing a lot of stuff. I mean, every page.
Just started the work. Y'all should that. When you write a book, when you turn it in, you literally just began the project. That was like the first step. That's the hardest step. That's the first step. So be ready for Jamie finished her first book. Believe it. It comes out next month. I'm so excited.
This month.
It's like 3 weeks. It's
Yeah.
called Believe It. Pre-order on Amazon. Go support her. Go to BelieveIt.com. She worked so hard on this book, y'all. And I know you're telling a story. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just so,
No, go
so
ahead.
excited because you really got it. Like she turned it in. I got a first version of Believe It, and I went through it and gave some feedback and knew it was like, this is the first round of feedback and this is going to be a lot. Like your editors and remember you were so precious about it. You were like, oh, I hope they don't want to change it. And I was like, oh, they might, you go through the process. And I just trusted and knew that you would, going through the process several more times with other people, it always makes something better. It really does if you trust and you follow your voice. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. So just to share that, I said no to a book deal for 10 years because I was like all in building this company and I didn't want someone else to write my book. I wanted it to be fully authentic. So I waited. And then when I knew it was the right time, I wrote 80,000 words, every single word. And I was crying and laughing and so fired up for everyone that's going to, to share these lessons with, and binge eating Lucky Charms some days, all the things. Anyways, when I finally turned in the manuscript, Brendan, you and Oprah were two of the first two people that read the draft, and it was the first time I got feedback. And this is what I want to share with everyone and share about Glennon Doyle's story. And you said the same thing, and so did Oprah too. There's like, oh, great editors are gonna even, challenge you to go deeper on the stories, deeper on the lessons, all the stuff. And so, yeah, to your point, writing the book, that's the starting point. Then I spent the last 2 years, almost 2 years, editing every single word myself, going deeper, challenge. But the point I want to make is this: not about my book, but about our life and about every person listening right now. We all go through a process in life. I think whether you're writing a book or you're just living your day-to-day life, right? No matter what you're waking up and dealing with today. And that's when other people tell us to change things, right? Or tell us something's not right, it needs to be stronger, it needs to be better. And I think that it's so important to check in with our gut and go, does that feel right to me? And then if it feels right, you're like, oh, that feedback is a gift. I'm going with it. What a gift that this person said, hey, I think you should do this, challenge yourself to go deeper on this lesson. Or can you share more? I know it's personal, but can you share more? Whatever that feedback is, right? And then there's other times where you get people wanting to edit you, to use the book terms, and you're like, no, right? And I think this is really important. And in the book world, I'm going to share a word I just learned as an author in the past 2 years, which is STET, S-T-E-T, right? So when you get your book back, your manuscript back, the first round from all the editors, you'll see everything, a million changes on every page. And if you want to accept the change, if they say, hey, go deeper on this lesson or reveal this, or what if you talk more about this ex-boyfriend, whatever it is, right? You can accept the change and go, yeah, I'm going to go deeper there. I'm going to change this or edit that. Or you, as an author of your own life, your own book, you can write STET, S-T-E-T. And what that means is, no, I'm not going to change that. I'm not going to accept that edit. I appreciate your feedback, but it's not right for me authentically. So I was watching, my friend Glennon Doyle was talking about the words of the year. A lot of people have their own word for the year, right? Every year. And she was talking about, a lot of people might choose, confidence, like we're talking about, which is huge. And a word that we need to focus on for the year. It's a big thing out there. Her word is STET of the whole year. And she explained it in a way that was, I thought, so profound. And I just want to share it because someone else out there might need that word right now. She's
kind of
like,
I'm not going to change. Kind of like,
she's like, I'm going to grow.
But I'm not needing to change.
Well, it's more just like being mindful of when people tell you you need to do this differently, or you're not enough, or you're not the right fit, or you need to change this about you or that about you. It is so important that we go, oh, is this feedback a gift? Is it aligned with my soul? Is it valuable so that I can continue becoming all of who I am? Or do I just need to say stat? Like, thank you for your opinion. But that feedback isn't right for me. That criticism or that telling me something about me needs to change or something about me is not enough. And I think having the confidence in our own lives of saying, I'm going to trust myself and my gut over if this word someone said to me is right for me, or this feedback someone gave me, or this criticism someone gave me. Having the confidence to say, does this feel right in my gut? And if it does, great, trust it. And if it doesn't, don't. And have the confidence to just appreciate that from a distance and appreciate that person's intentions, because a lot of times they're good, but say that word stat in your own life. And I just thought that was really powerful, because a lot of times we're so busy throughout the day that we don't take the time to go, oh, let me curate the words that come in, that penetrate and take root, that other people share or that I'm hearing throughout my day. And I think part of confidence is learning to do that.
I think it is. It's about how to receive other people's direction or input or judgments, and also your own judgments, because sometimes it's your own voice saying things and you were like, whoa, is that true? I always put everything through a filter, obviously, because I'm the Mr. Framework guy. So I'm like, I call it the 3 E's. And so I listen for the 3 E's, and the E's just each stand for a word. And the first one is, does this feedback or this mental chatter, if I follow it, does it expand? Does it expand my growth? Does it expand who I am? Does it expand my strengths, my energy? Is it something that's going to make me, in other words, grow, but like is expansive from the source, right? Meaning first, does that tie in with the source, the truth of who I am or what I desire or where I'm going? And does it expand it? Or does it just like, pop in a hole in it? It's like, okay, that's not useful. The question is, does it expand? The second one is, does it enrich? Does this feedback, if I follow it, or this mental, if I do what my, ideas are thinking, does it enrich my life? Does it enrich my life in terms of my joy? Does it enrich my life in terms of the beauty around me? Does it enrich how I, the sense of satisfaction or fulfillment or meaning that I get from life? Or is it just more noise? And then the last one is, does it empower me in such a way it makes me more accountable or skilled? Like if I do what they're saying, will that make me better? Will that make me a higher performer? Will that take me to the next level? Does that empower my belief in myself? Or does that empower me to do more the next day or to be more? And so I'm always thinking, does this expand me? Does this enrich my life? Does this empower my capabilities? If not, it's noise and probably a direction I don't need to go on, or it's a label someone's applying. It's not, in other words, it's not actually directive. It's not additive. It's not progressive. And you have to learn at those, because some people offer what I call dead-end advice. Label, judgment, stop. And I'm like, oh, that's dead-end advice. That's dead-end advice is thank you, but there's a dead end. Other people offer advice or thoughts or judgments or encouragement to you that now expands, enriches, or empowers. You want to listen to those people. You want to listen to those thoughts. You want to set up your environment from what's going in your ear in your workout, when you're listening to positive podcasts or our morning show. You want to start programming your mind for things that are expanding, enriching, and empowering. And the more you do that, the more that ends up kind of, I would say, kind of like knocking down the noise of other things, because our brains are always telling us stories. And sometimes you have to feed like other sounds into your brain, encouraging people, enriching advice, empowering ideas, that overcomes the lower levels of noise and those thoughts that aren't serving or positive or engaging. And I think that's just a big differentiator in life. Is this expanding, enriching, and empowering me, or is it just noise?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for me, part of expanding and enriching and empowering too is just, how does this feel in my gut? Does this feel right? You know what I mean? I think of all the years of getting feedback from, when I was trying to build a company and kept getting rejection after rejection after rejection. And every time, usually these rejections from the retail stores or from, whoever it was, experts, it would come with feedback. And I always had to check in and just trust my gut. And sometimes, like at the end of the day, sometimes it's all we have is that inner knowing of, is this feedback right for me? You know, is that word somebody said right for me? Do I let it take root? And there were so many times where I would get feedback like, oh, you need to change all of your packaging and make it a lot more expensive feeling, or whatever the feedback was. And I always would check in and be like, no, like it doesn't feel right. Or, oh, wow, that was a good catch. They just told me my font is too small to read. And oh, that was huge. Thank you. You know what I mean?
Oh, you don't. If you make font too small, Jamie's coming right at you. She's gonna give you some feedback. You're like, no, She will catch that detail, people.
When I got this lesson in my life, after sabotaging a whole lot of stuff in my life, after getting some things I wanted, but then not understanding why I didn't feel fulfilled, or after getting some things and then literally losing them, this lesson has changed my entire life. I'm excited to share this sneak peek advanced chapter read of my book, Worthy, with you, and also dive into some incredibly powerful tools on how to build true, unshakable self-worth together. I wrote Worthy for every person who has ever doubted you're enough, for every person who's ever doubted your worthiness, and for every person who is sick and tired of what self-doubt has already cost you in your life. And I wrote Worthy after a series of powerful moments led me to consider, what does self-doubt already cost me in my life? And the answer was way too much. And if this is you too, I wrote this book with the intention of helping you feel less alone and more enough, and to share powerful tools that you can apply to your life right now to build true self-worth. So here's the thing, is I used to think I was all alone in these struggles, right? I don't know if you have them too and you feel like you're alone in them, but with deep self-doubt, like I felt alone in that, and I used to try to hide it. And once I became so much more aware, and then I became obsessed with studying self-worth and tools to build it, I learned that I am far from alone. You are too if you feel it. If you struggle with self-doubt, we are far from alone. Studies show more than 80% of women feel like they are not enough. First of all, that is why I'm donating 100% of my author proceeds of Worthy, that in big part go to programs that help build self-worth in girls and women. But it truly is the intention behind this book, because here's the thing, self-worth is the one thing that changes everything in all areas of your life. And what's beautiful and powerful is it is never too late to build it. I don't know who needs to hear this today. One of my amazing friends, Mally Roncal, always says, you are not too old, you're not too young, it's not too late, your best days are ahead. I love that quote from her. And here's the thing, it's never too late to unlearn the lies that lead to self-doubt and embrace the truths that wake up worthiness. So I wrote this book for you if you have some self-doubt to destroy and a destiny to fulfill. And I am so excited, and I just, I'd love to start by sharing some of the most powerful tools on building self-worth and sharing sort of the high-level overview and the table of contents for Worthy, and just sort of share with you a couple lines, and in some cases some deep tools on the key takeaways so that you know what you're in store with this book. Here's the thing. With Worthy, the table of contents, I'm gonna take you through it because I want you to really get it, take it in what we're expecting in this book. So part 1 of Worthy is called Seeing. This is all about self-confidence, self-worth, and self-revelations. So chapter 1 is called The One Thing That Transforms Everything. This is a chapter that lays out the foundation of self-worth and how building it truly impacts all areas of your life. And here's the thing, y'all. Okay, I gotta go deep for a minute before I continue. Self-confidence is very different than self-worth. Okay, I wanna pause for a minute and I wanna go deep here on this, because really this is the first tool that was one of the biggest breakthroughs in my life. And it really comes down to the importance of understanding the difference between self-confidence and self-worth, and how they both play out in your life right now. Okay, this one's big. See, both are so important, but they both are very different. And I've gotten so many questions from you on social media and even live questions tonight in the comments about this. So I want to go deeper for a minute. See, self-confidence, okay? Self-confidence is how you assess yourself based on your skills, your attributes, how you stack up compared to others, your willingness to try. If you keep the promises you make to yourself, self-confidence, even though it's internal, it can fluctuate by the second based on how things are going all around you, right? If you're winning or you're losing, if you're hitting your fitness goals, how much of the world's definition of success you have. And here's the thing, y'all, almost every advertisement our entire lives tells us, and well-intentioned family and friends, tells us that if we could just get the things that make us more confident, the money, that job title, the white picket fence, the perfect looking family, right? All the things people ask you when they see you, how's your job going? What about your family? Are you in a relationship, right? We're told if we get those things, then we'll be happy, then we'll be fulfilled. But let me ask you a question. Have you ever finally gotten that thing? Like you got it, like you worked so hard to get it. And then you arrive there and you realize, maybe it's after a year or a month or a week or a few hours, you realize you're still not fully happy. And it still feels like something's missing. So then what do we do in that case? We work harder and harder and harder and accomplish more and more and more. We think, I just gotta achieve more. I've just gotta get that next level. Then we arrive, and all y'all achievers out there, you'll know what I'm talking about. We arrive, and what happens? We still feel like something's missing. Here's why. It's because all of these things that we're so often striving so hard to get, they build self-confidence, which is so important to build. But none of them actually build self-worth. Self-worth is the deep, internal knowing that you are innately worthy of love and belonging exactly as you are, right now, in this very moment. Not as you achieve, not dependent on anything happening around you or not happening around you or anything in the past that went well or didn't go well, but you are worthy exactly as your Creator made you. And so many women, whether you're high achievers or perfectionists or people pleasers, and really people everywhere, spend their whole lives striving and sacrificing for the things like hitting that fitness goal or getting that job title or the marriage and the kids and the dream house. And then they think, all of us do. You guys, decades of my life I did. I thought I needed to achieve to be happy. But then we achieve and we arrive going, why aren't we fulfilled? Because while we're building great self-confidence along the way, which again it's such an important component of life, but we don't realize that those things don't actually build self-worth, and we haven't learned how to build strong self-worth along the way. So both self-confidence and self-worth are such important skills to build in life, but they're both very different. Self-worth is your foundation. That is your foundation. Self-confidence is the house you build on top of it. But your house will only ever be as secure and as fulfilled as the foundation it is built upon. Understanding the difference between self-confidence and self-worth will change every aspect of your life, and learning how to build true self-worth allows you to feel fulfillment while you're achieving all the things that can only build self-confidence. This is a huge revelation, y'all, because for those of you that feel like something's missing in your life and you don't know why and you're doing all the right things, right? And then people often, I'm gonna get way off on a tangent, let me not do this, but people often will quit a job because they think, oh, that's why I'm not fulfilled. Or they'll end a marriage or end a relationship or whatever it is because they think that's why I'm not fulfilled. Something's missing in my life. And so many of the times it's because they're doing all the things that build confidence and they think that they should feel like nothing's missing. But when they do not have underlying self-worth, you can never feel true fulfillment. So here's the deal, y'all. I'm not going to go off because we'll be on here for 10 hours of a worthy watch party, but separate of your victories and achievements or past mistakes and failures, you are fully worthy. Like, true self-worth is knowing you are fully, innately worthy right now, in this very moment, exactly as you are. Whew, that is chapter 1, by the way. So let me go through some of these a little faster. But y'all, we didn't come here to play. Like, your time is precious, and decades of my life, I couldn't understand why it felt like something was missing, or why I sabotaged opportunities, etc. This has been the one thing that's changed everything in my life. So I'm just honored to share it with you. Okay, chapter 2 is called Change Your Relationship with Rejection, Change Your Entire Life. If you feel stuck in life, or if you've had, the fear of rejection or failure, or if you've ever felt like you are a failure, and I only say that because so many of you guys write in and say that to me, that you feel that way, this chapter is going to be life-changing for you. Chapter 2, called Change Your Relationship with Rejection, Change Your Life. Chapter 3 is called You're Not Crazy, You're Just First. You're not crazy, you're just first. If you have ever felt like you're different, or like who you are isn't enough, or like you don't belong, this chapter reframes that and will set you free. I am going to come back in a minute, actually, because I really want to share a powerful lesson and a tool with you in words that I hope speak to your soul, that you can apply to your life right now. Chapter 4, you have greatness inside of you. This is all about how your past doesn't determine your future. It's all about how your past mistakes or past pain or past regrets, past failures doesn't determine your worthiness, and how where you come from doesn't have to determine where you're going. Okay, if you're someone who feels like you've made too many mistakes, been too hurt, or maybe you feel like you've hurt others too many times, or maybe you feel like you're somehow damaged or broken or have been carrying around shame, I share some of the things in my past for the first time ever in this chapter. And I share things that most of my family doesn't know, that many who read it might shame me for. But I'm sharing them because this book isn't about me, right? This book is about the one person reading it. Maybe that is you, who needs to know that you are not alone, right? That your past, as my dear friend Ed Milet says, your past does not disqualify you from your dreams. And this chapter, I almost deleted a few times because I know how shocking it's going to be to a lot of people in my family. But here's the thing, y'all. The story the press loves to share about me looks like, the highlight reel, right? It looks like the highlight reel. And Denny's waitress builds $1 billion company, and that's all true. But this isn't a book about my story. This is a book about your story, right? When I wrote Believe It, it was my journey of learning to believe in myself up until that point. Worthy is the playbook on how you can believe in you. And I just knew I cannot allow this chapter to be deleted because I know what I know. And it is for the one person, and maybe it's you, who feels like what you've done in the past and the shame you've been carrying around for it has caused you to have deep self-worth issues where you identify as someone who's broken or shameful or made too many mistakes and all that, and that you're sort of putting up this barrier of belief of how, we opened tonight talking about how in life you don't rise to what you believe is possible, you fall to what you believe you're worthy of. This chapter is about reframing and shifting what you know. I'm not even gonna say what you believe, what you know you're worthy of, regardless of past mistakes or anything that's happened in the past. Self-confidence and self-worth are completely different. We so easily confuse the two, and understanding the difference is literally the one thing that will change everything in your life. There are so many of us, myself included, who have actually done so much great work to build self-confidence. But then we sabotage things, we stay stuck, we don't get what we want because we don't realize, oh, I have a whole lot of self-confidence, but I actually don't have strong self-worth. And they're very different. They're very, very different. So self-worth is truly the one thing that can change everything in your life. In your life, your relationships, your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, your amount of joy and fulfillment. So in Worthy, which is all about, how to believe you're enough and transform your life, there's simple steps that give life-changing results. There is an entire chapter called The One Thing That Changes Everything. And I break down, and I'm going to share right now in this video as well, but I go deep in here on breaking down the difference between self-confidence and self-worth. Both are important, but so many of us literally live our entire lives just building self-confidence. And then we never realize, why don't we feel like we're enough? We keep accomplishing more and more and more, and we finally do enough and have enough and become enough and all that, but we still don't feel like we're enough. It's because of not understanding the difference, and it's because of doing all the things that build self-confidence, but none of the things that build self-worth. So let me just break this down for a minute, because this is so important, okay? Self-confidence, while an internal trait, is actually based on so much happening around you externally, and it fluctuates all the time. Self-confidence, while an internal trait, is based on so much externally. So your self-confidence right now is based on things like your own assessment of your skills and abilities, your willingness to try and go for it. If you keep the promises you make to yourself, how you feel you stack up or compare to others, how much of the world's definition of success you believe you have. All those things impact your self-confidence. It can rise and fall quickly based on if you're winning or losing, right? There's studies that show the boxer who wins the match is automatically 30% more confident, right? Your confidence fluctuates. It's fragile. It's volatile. Your self-worth is the deep internal belief in knowing that you are worthy of love and belonging exactly as you are. Not as you achieve, not as what's happening all around you in the outside world, but knowing you are worthy of love and belonging exactly as you are. Another way to put this is self-confidence is your belief in your abilities as a person. Self-worth is your belief in your value as a person. Your self-worth is the foundation. Your self-confidence is the house you build upon it. But you'll only ever be as strong as the foundation that house is built upon. And here's what this looks like in our lives, right? So many of us, let me just ask you this question right off the top. Have you ever had something you really wanted, and you thought, if I eventually get that thing, then I'll be happy. Then I'll be fulfilled. Then I'll feel enough. Maybe it is a job title, or it's a certain number in the bank account, or it's, six-pack abs, a certain goal weight. Maybe it is, running the triathlon or doing the triathlon. Maybe it's getting the white picket fence or getting married or, falling in love or having 2.5 kids. Have you ever wanted that thing and just thought, one day when I get that, then I'll finally feel happy and fulfilled? And then for so many of us, we've had those things and then we get the thing, right? For some of us, we work really, really hard for years and we finally get the thing. And let me ask you this, when you finally got the thing, then what happened? Were all your hopes and dreams did they miraculously happen? Were you happy and fulfilled and enough forever? Or did you feel this temporary high followed by a slow descent back to feeling like something's missing, and like you don't know what's missing, but you just feel like you're not enough and something's missing from your life. Okay, here's why. It's because in the pursuit of all those things, you built a whole lot of self-confidence, but none of those things build self-worth. Self-confidence is really, really important in life, as is growth, always growing in one area or another, as is contributing to something greater than yourself. Those three things are really important, but you multiply all those by your level of self-worth to get your level of ultimate fulfillment in life. Building strong self-worth is truly the one thing that changes everything. It's why I wrote Worthy. There's over 20 tools in here on how to build strong self-worth, because here's the deal. When you don't, and by the way, there have been so many times in my life where I had so much confidence and I didn't understand why I didn't feel enough, or I didn't understand why I sabotaged an opportunity, or I didn't understand why I stayed stuck and didn't put my art or my ideas or my full expression of my business out there. It's because we will not, over time, we will not perform to the level of our potential. We will plateau at the level of our self-worth. Every time, over time. Every time, over time. It's why you've seen people out there in the world that can achieve everything, have every level of what the world defines success as, fame, fortune, whatever it might be. And they're not happy. And they're not happy, right? Strong self-worth is literally the one thing that changes everything. And if you are wondering if this is an issue in your life, there's really three ways that low self-worth can show up, right? One, if we have really, really, really low self-worth, we'll stay stuck. We'll know we have great ideas or we're deserving of an amazing romantic relationship, but we'll stay stuck in one that's not good for our soul. And we don't realize it's because we don't fully feel we're worthy of a great relationship, right? We'll stay stuck and not go after the thing. We'll stay stuck and not write the first word of our book that we know we're born to write. We'll just stay stuck and never go for the thing because we don't believe we're worthy of it. We don't realize that's what it is, but that's so often what it is. So that's one way, staying stuck, right? Another way is if we have, a little bit more self-worth, maybe low self-worth, we'll actually go for things and then we'll sabotage them. We'll meet a really incredible potential partner and we'll somehow mess it up or put them in the friend zone. We literally sometimes just aren't even attracted to them and we don't know why, even though they're a great person. It's because when deep down inside we have low self-worth, we don't believe we're worthy of it. Or we'll go after a big opportunity and we'll be so confident doing it, and then we'll just somehow sabotage it. And then if you have medium self-worth, but it's not quite high, you'll actually go for things. You'll accomplish them, right? You may even believe you're worthy of them. But if you only have medium level self-worth, you'll arrive at them and still feel like you're not enough. You'll still feel empty inside. There's so many people in marriages or in incredible situations in their career where they feel like something's missing, like it's not enough, and they don't know what it is. So they think it's their partner or they think it's their job, right? What it is deep down inside, they haven't done the work to build strong, unshakable self-worth. Your self-worth is the one thing that literally changes everything. So step one is to be aware of the difference between self-confidence and self-worth. Your self-worth is your unremitting identity and your belief that you are enough exactly as you are. And by the way, when you learn to believe you're enough exactly as you are, it doesn't prevent you from being ambitious. It actually gives you more ambition because you're not afraid to fail because it doesn't impact your self-worth. You're not afraid to put yourself out there to go for things, even if you fall flat on your face, because that might hurt your confidence for a minute, but it does not determine your self-worth. Your self-worth is deep, it's internal, it's unwavering. It's why I wrote Worthy, because literally when you learn to build your self-worth, there's over 20 tools in here on how to do it. It is the one thing that transforms everything.
I have two really fun rounds that I want to do before I close, but one thing I want to say, Ed, that I think is really unique to you. And I know that you haven't always been this way, and maybe it's part of your own growth, but I feel like you do something I rarely ever see done publicly, and that's that you are not afraid to show vulnerability. You're not afraid to show sort of these beautiful, what would normally look like contrasting things. And what I mean by that is you're this dude with muscles, and then you're like narrating your 2 Pomeranians' day, Daisy and Lily, right? You are, you're setting the stadium like on fire. People just their lives are being so impacted, and then you're also very introverted. You know what I mean? There's kind of this contrast. You do it so well, I think, even with, sharing real direct, very direct, confident statements or tools or tips. But then you'll share how, you're not feeling so well, and this is happening. It's sort of this contrast of showing all sides of you. And I'm just wondering how you got to that place, because a lot of people are scared. They show up not just on social media, but in their day-to-day lives as part of who they are, but not as all of who they are. How did you get to this place of showing up and with a confidence as all of who you are?
Great question. Most people are pretty complex, and I am. I mean, there's a lot of simple things about me, but I'm a pretty complicated person in that sense. Like I am really, really intense, and then I'm hopefully, pretty kind person. I think that I do it because I just got tired of trying to pretend I was perfect. I just got tired of it. Like, I want people to have hope, not idolization. And so I want people to go, hey, if this guy...
Hold on. Yeah. You want people to have hope, not idolization.
Right.
How many people out there right now are just, that's not their priority? That is huge, Ed, what you just said.
Thank you. And the people that were my idols, once I met them, I was like, whoa, wait a minute here, right? So I want people to go, hey, this is a flawed, imperfect person, which we all are. And man, I'm watching this guy fight to really change who he is and get better and grow. And he's obviously learned a lot of tools for doing it. In fact, the reason that I'm so into personal development, self-improvement, self-confidence, all these other things is for me to just become a baseline functioning person, I had to have these tools. And then when I got to baseline, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Maybe we could take this further and actually be, happier and successful. So I want to show that. I want to be able to not show. It's not even showing. It really isn't. It's just like, here it is. Yeah. I'm not conscious like I'm going to show. I'm just like, this is me. Like, I'm a really intense dude. I love to compete, but I really love people. And also, I think over time, as we age, we change. I think, the 25-year-old me probably would be totally unwilling. I don't know. Maybe that's not true. I think a lot of people would tell you even then I was that way. But maybe I'm a little bit more unafraid to just say, hey, listen, I have fears and insecurities, and I made this mistake with my son, and, I love God, and I love my dad, and, I have fears, and I think that hopefully by hearing those things, you go, well, man, if he could do it, I could do it. This is not some perfect person who's got it all figured out. I'll just say this, I've got some things figured out. And that's better than I used to be. And if I could give you what I know, maybe I could save you a bunch of time, a bunch of mistakes I made, speed up your happiness and success through all the mistakes I've made. So I also love people like you. And this is where all this kind of comes together. I love really confident people who have a ton of humility. And I don't love confident people who don't have humility, and I'm not really interested in being around a bunch of humble people who have no self-confidence. Self-confident people who have humility are curious. They want to learn, they want to grow. Self-confident person without that, they're hard to be around. You know this. And they eventually probably make a mistake or burn out or whatever. And then our humble friends who we love so much, they're just hard to take through life with you if they have no self-confidence. It's like, come on, you can do it, let's go. And so I love people who tread that nuance really well. You do that as well as anybody I've ever met before. Like, there's this strength of a woman in there. Like, there's this, and I've watched you defend me in different situations. Like there's this really strong, confident woman who knows who she is, but so humble, so much humility that she still has this other part of her that's, and also wants to learn, wants to grow, values other people, right? Like humility is, I think, sometimes just the value of other people. And when you have all this self-confidence and no humility, it's like, are you the most important person?
Yeah.
You know? So hopefully over time I've nuanced that pretty well.
I think it's beautiful. I mean, even when you're doing animal voices on your, I think it's beautiful because I think people at home are like, oh, I do that too. And I think it's just this beautiful kind of like showing all sides. And, you know, I want to say it's obviously no accident. Millions and millions of people connect with you, your shows. And you are one of the few people who does a really good job at showing both sides of things. You'll have somebody, you know, talk about politics, you'll have somebody extremely left one day and the next day someone extremely right.
Yeah.
You'll show both sides of everything, never even sharing where you're at. And you know, I've always felt this, and this has always kind of just been dumbfounding to me, that I feel like the quickest way to get dull in life is to only surround yourself with people that think the way you do.
Yes.
Right? And so many people only surround themselves with people who think the way that they do.
Oh, that's the thing to do now, isn't it?
It is right now.
You only be around people who share your political beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, your life beliefs. You know what's really the truth, and you know this, you ain't learning very much from them. You very rarely learn anything from anybody who completely agrees with you on everything.
Yeah.
And even in your companies, you know this, when we're building the company, I want people who disagree with me. I want people who challenge me. I want people with a diverse background. I want people who come at it from a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
And so I have lots, as you know, and so do you, and we laugh about some of our mutual friends that disagree with stuff with each other. My dad and I disagreed on a lot of stuff. One of the most interesting, fascinating things about my dad was we didn't agree on political things all the time. We certainly didn't agree on religious things all the time. Our outlook on all kinds of stuff was very different. To say that my dad and I are the same person in that regard isn't true. My favorite person, that an adult person in my life is my dad, and me and him disagreed on lots of stuff. And I learned lots of stuff. And some of the things over time, I do think more like him again. You know, but I don't want people around me all the time who agree with me, and I don't want people all the time around me that just agree with everything I think. How boring. You're right. No, you're right. No, you're right. Oh, we're both right.
We're both right.
Isn't this crazy? And they're so this,
It's
and they're
destiny.
so that. And it is so our culture now, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, you know, it's so our culture. And like, and every facet is trying to put us in these camps. Like, you're over there. You're one of those. You're one of those. I'm one of these. And man, that is absolutely not how this thing's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100% counter to how the world is supposed to work. I promise you, of all the things we talked about today, I'm the most sure of what I'm telling you right now, that we are supposed to be different. There's supposed to be diversity of thought, of behavior, of background, of culture, of religion, of ethnicity. The diversity in our world is the strength of this world. And if there was ever a leader who rose up and said, I'm embracing that, and I'm not even going to let you play your game where you're pitted against one another.
Yeah.
Oh man, would we change the world?
As we had talked before, I know you were speaking at an event for Erwin McManus, and I saw you, I think last year, spoke at an event for John Maxwell. And so I know you've been able to be around a lot of amazing people. You mentioned Oprah earlier, and being around some of these incredible people, what is something maybe you've learned, or maybe something somebody said to you that is maybe the biggest thing you've learned, or the best piece of advice you've ever received from some of these incredible people?
Well, I think the most powerful thing I've learned is that every single one of them deals with self-doubt too. Every single one of them is a lifelong student, constantly working on building their own self-worth, right? John Maxwell, in his, 70 books he's written, and millions and millions and millions of copies, and so many millions of people he's impacted all over the world. He is the same as Oprah, as Tony Robbins, as Erwin. When I'm at an event with them, like John Maxwell will be taking more notes than anybody. I think I take a lot of notes at events. So I would say, that they all deal with self-doubt. And I want to share that because for anyone listening who thinks, oh, people like that must be different than I am, right? We're in this technology-driven world where we go on Instagram and, YouTube and all of that. And I love Instagram. I scroll it every day. And also, I don't see anyone on there like talking about all the real stuff they're going through. It just all looks so good. And I think for, hopefully, at least for me, it helped me feel less alone and more enough when I realized, oh, wow, even these touted visionaries, some have been my mentors from afar or heroes my whole life. They're just like me. They deal with self-doubt. They're lifelong students, constantly growing. And so I would say that's probably the big thing. But I mean, I grew up with 5 different families. You're being adopted, and I am so blessed and love my families. And also, I'm the only one that I'm aware of anybody in any of my families that's like a lifelong student that wants to go, that gets off a stage at a John Maxwell event and then sits there and watches the other speakers and take notes because I love it. You know what I mean? Like, and so it just, it was, I don't know. I think that would probably be the one thing, is just for anyone who needs to feel less alone and more enough, and thinking that, those people must be different than you. They all deal with self-doubt too. And I think also the second thing I would say is, and Oprah actually said this, that at the end of every interview she's done, whether it was with George Bush or Beyonce or an axe murderer, it didn't matter. At the end of every interview, the person would be like, how was it? How was it? And she said what she realized is every single person has this common thread where they just want to know, did you hear me? Do you see me? Did what I say matter to you? And for me, I took away one of the greatest leadership lessons, right? Which is at our core, we all just want to be seen and know that we matter. And I think I remember building at cosmetics. I mean, we eventually built to over 1,000 employees, but in the early years, I could not pay what our competitors paid. But I was able to recruit away from their companies people that did not feel seen or like what they were doing mattered. They didn't have this clear vision and purpose for why they were working so hard. And when I was able to give that to really see people, to remind them of what is our vision and where are we going and why what they're doing matters, because able to apply that lesson to employee retention, but also in relationships, right? How many times are you arguing with your partner or whatever? And, if you just stop and just go, let me really try to hear what you're saying. We don't want to say that. We want to say, no, you're wrong. We just actually hear them. And this is all they need. People just want to be heard and seen, and know that they matter. So that was another big lesson. By the way, really fast to add this, I know it might be too many tips on one show, but I write about how to do this in the book, because in the book Worthy, and it's in the chapter called Do You See You? Because so many people feel unseen in this world. So many people feel unseen. And in particular for people, especially women, but over 50% of women identify as people pleasers, but 40% of men identify as people pleasers. When we are someone who's constantly aware of everyone else's needs and showing up for everyone, not only start to feel unseen, but we can start to feel invisible. And I talk about the importance of, of learning to not only feel seen, and one of the hacks to doing that is to actually see other people. And so many of us have gotten in these habits in life where we actually don't see other people. And I talk about simple things, for example, if you are feeling unseen or like you don't matter or any of those things, walking into a coffee shop. How many of us do that? We're on our phones. If someone says hi, we don't even necessarily make eye contact, or maybe we do for a split second. We go about our day. We might make small talk, but we're not actually seeing each other. And one of my favorite things to do when I'm kind of feeling that disconnection from myself or from humanity or from just that feeling of aliveness is when you walk in a coffee shop or go up to a coworker today or someone who's on your team or a neighbor, it doesn't matter. And you actually see them and you actually just ask them how they are or give them an honest compliment and just really actually make eye contact with them. At first, they probably won't even be comfortable doing it. But when you just keep that conversation going for a second and actually be interested in them, or share again an authentic compliment or observation, like, wow, it seems like you love, or you make that foam so good, like, you're so effervescent, or, oh, I love that shirt, whatever it is. What will happen when you finally see them and they allow you to see them and you make eye contact with them? The moment they feel seen, and you can try this again with coworkers, doesn't matter who, someone at church on Sunday, the moment they actually feel seen by you, you'll see a shift in their eyes. You'll see it. You'll see the moment it happens. And the moment that shift happens is the moment they see you back. And that moment, try this today in your life. The moment you really see them, and they let themselves be seen, which we're so out of practice of in our society, they let themselves be seen, you'll see the shift in the iris of their eyes. You will see it. And that is the moment they see you back, and the moment you feel seen back. And it's one of the most beautiful things that you can do to build connection, and to start overcoming that disassociated state that so many of us live in.
It's so powerful.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock this house and welcome to the stage, Jamie Kern Lima! Baby Kern Lima!
Every single one of us has had someone tell us we're not enough. Every single one of us has had someone say words to us that hurt.